guys, welcome back. This is going to be another episode of Confessions of a Theme Park Employee, and I'm doing it a little bit differently. I'm going to try and write out the stories like from past, like old stories, so that they're a little bit more put together and I'm not so all over the place with them, and maybe it won't feel a little bit awkward talking to myself. So here we go. Today's story is going to be how I became a lead. So I'm just going to give some background for you guys. Lead is the second position in the hierarchy at my first park. So the hierarchy works like frontline team member, lead, supervisor, senior supervisor, full-time supervisor, manager, director, and then there's some other stuff, but like I didn't really interact with anyone higher than my director, except for the park president, who's probably going to get a few of his own episodes because man was he a character. So I've also decided to give the parks that I work at names that I've made up for them so that I can refer to them a little bit easier than the first park I worked at, the second park I worked at kind of thing. I've also given new names to all of my coworkers, and that's a them thing, so they have some privacy. You guys don't go bother them about all these weird stories I'm sharing. So the first park that I worked at is going to be called Hometown. That's because it was near my hometown and kind of where I grew up and became who I am. So let's get to it. The story of my first promotion. So I worked as a frontline team member for 2 years, and then at the end of 2014 was the Great Purge, as we called it, and that just suddenly means that there were positions to be filled in management. And I just happened to be one of the 5 lucky people that were given that promotion into lead. And let me tell you, we all thought it was going to be a grand time before we got it, and then we got there. And while yes, it was still fun, it was very different than we all had anticipated it being at first. So the way that getting promoted worked at Hometown was maybe a little bit unconventional. It was basically a group effort. So the existing management staff would sit down, and the supervisors would talk to the existing leads, and they're like, hey, what team members do you think are cool? Sometimes there'd be an application involved, and like the team members could put them in, but this like group meeting always happened. And it'd be like, here are the applications, here are the people who applied, are there anyone who didn't apply that you think would be really good? And they discuss it, and the supervisors would get the opinions of the existing leads. And then the existing leads would leave, and the supervisors would talk amongst themselves, and they usually would come to a conclusion like, okay, these are who we want. And then they'd go to the full-time staff, so that'd be the full-time supervisors and the manager. At the time that I was promoted, we only had one full-time soup and our manager, so it was kind of a group effort between the 2 supervisors that were left and my manager and the new supervisor that they had promoted. So that's kind of how it works. It's like a group effort. You talk things over, the pros and the cons, and then you come to a decision and offer the position or whatever. So I got the promotion, clearly, and it was a rough transition, I'm not going to lie. It was a learning curve for everybody involved. But once we had gotten past that and we had kind of learned to work with each other and we were having a good time, it was like this passing moment. It was me and my 2 senior soups. We were in the back room in our office, probably just taking a break from the crowds outside or something like that. And I just remember this conversation. It was definitely me and Max, who was like my direct supervisor. He was a senior soup. And he'd been there, like, he'd been my supervisor from the beginning. I'm pretty sure Frank was also there. He didn't become a game supervisor until that summer. He was like a warehouse supervisor, but I still knew him. So I think it was like the 3 of us, and we were just kind of hanging out. And Max just kind of looks at me and goes, you know, you only got promoted because I had a concussion. And I'm like, I've only known him for like 2.5 years. Not the weirdest thing he said to me. So I'm just like, okay, whatever, what do you mean? Like, what does that mean? And he goes, yeah, when Mike, our manager, called me, I was on the sidelines of a rugby game and had just been hit pretty hard. And turns out later on that I did have a concussion, and all I remember is him listing off some names, something about lead, and my response was, yeah, that's great. So, like, he came out with that, like, just, and it became this joke, like, you guys only got your promotion because I had a concussion. So, while it's not probably the only reason I got promoted, it's funny to think that it might be. So yeah, I am where I am today because Max had a concussion. Hope you guys enjoyed this story. Tune in next time for another fun and exciting adventure of the life and times of Katie as a theme park employee. Over here are my social media links in this general area up here somewhere. Go ahead and check them out. Follow me if you'd like. Subscribe down below if you think I'm funny. Give this video a like if you also think I'm funny. Leave some comments. I'll answer, or at least try to. Leave me some questions if you guys have any. We could do some fun Q&A stuff. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.